Welcome back to the Simply Fitness Podcast. I'm John Stein. On this episode of the podcast, I got a chance to sit down with Marci Nevin. We had a great conversation, specifically talking about what pitfalls you can avoid this year to make more progress with your goals, and as well as some things that she wished she knew when she was first starting off her fitness journey. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Welcome, Marci. Welcome to the Simply Fitness Podcast. How's your day going so far?
Oh, it's just starting, but so far so good.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on.
where exactly are you located again?
I'm in Northern California, so about 40 minutes east of San Francisco.
Oh yeah, so it's still the early morning for you. I'm halfway through my day. I already got my workout in.
Oh, look at you.
I'm full, ready to go for the rest of the day. So,
I don't do my workout until like 6:30 at night these days, so I've got a lot of work to do before that. Where are you, Ron?
I'm currently in New Jersey. I just moved back up north a little bit. Was in North Carolina for a little while, but now I'm back home in New Jersey, New York area, right outside New York City.
How did you like North Carolina?
I absolutely loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I almost moved there a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
We were going to move, gosh, what was the name of it? Like the Huntersville area, somewhere like that, kind of right outside of Charlotte.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that does ring a bell over there. We were towards the opposite end of North Carolina, towards the Outer Banks a little bit, towards the bay.
That's a really nice area.
Yeah, we loved it there. So
why'd you leave?
Family. Just wanted to be closer to family and everything like that. So everything, for us involves around family. So we're like, it's too far away for us to, start a family and wanted to be with everybody. So it was just too difficult for us. So we took our chance and decided to come on back. So.
Well, hopefully it's been good.
Yeah. Well, except for the snow on the ground right now, which is like not what I signed up for, but that's okay. I have to get used to it again, I guess.
Well, it's funny because when we went to North Carolina to check it out, we went the first week of June. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I did not sign up for this humidity. I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I was just telling someone, I was like, it's not too cold out. I'm like, it's not. But you have to realize I'm used to walking outside my door and instantly sweating.
Yeah.
And now it's below freezing. I'm not used to that.
Right.
So you're used to Vermont and it's cold and you're used to this freezing weather. I'm used to, warm sunshine, 8 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm. It's a rude awakening. I get it.
Yeah. So I got to get accustomed to it.
Yeah.
So Marci, let's give a little background about yourself. Tell me, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what exactly you do, and a little bit about your, fitness journey so far in life.
God, well, John, I'll be 37 on Saturday, so I've been doing this for a long time.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I started when I was 15, maybe even younger than that. Like I started going to the gym when I was 15, but before that, I was doing workout tapes in my parents' living room, maybe when I was 12. So, and it was because I thought I was overweight and was very self-conscious and wanted to lose weight and look good in bathing suit for our, family trip to the lake. And that's kind of what started it. And then I got hooked. But see, I started with fitness and then kind of got into the nutrition thing. I was asking my mom for advice. How do I lose weight? And she was like, oh, well, eat less sugar, eat low fat. She had no idea, cabbage diet. So I was just, doing all these things that she did and nothing was really working. Mm-hmm. And but I was still going to the gym or still exercising. And I was a very active kid, played all the sports, did all the things, but still struggled with my weight. So when I was my freshman year, going into my freshman year of high school, I was still really frustrated. And she said, well, I'm going to start Weight Watchers. Would you want to do it with me? And I said, sure, why not? If it works. Yeah. So I very loosely did Weight Watchers, but I lost weight and I felt really good. So that was freshman year of high school. And then sophomore year of high school is when I really got into lifting. So reading the fitness magazines, going to the gym, lifting weights, doing all the cardio, eating better. And yeah, it really just progressed from there. And then in college, I was like into it
Okay.
deep.
Yeah.
And I would say I developed not like an eating disorder, but definitely disordered
Ordered
eating
eating.
practices.
Yeah.
And what I say to people is, I didn't really do it intentionally. One of my
Hmm.
favorite quotes is, you do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know
Yeah.
better, you do better.
Hmm.
So this was at the time again where Oxygen, Muscle and Fitness Hers, um, websites were kind of becoming popular. So this one called T Nation, which is still
Yeah.
around, and I was just reading the information and applying it.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. So, get up and do an hour of cardio and eat 5 small meals a day with barely any carbs, nothing but
Yeah.
like clean food.
Mhm.
And then go back to the gym and lift weights at night. And it was just, it was a fitness competitor lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I got very lean, but I know I lost too much weight. I got
Hmm.
too lean. And then it really did kind of develop this disordered
Yeah.
eating mindset, I would say,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Because I liked seeing myself that way. Like, oh, finally I can go to the store, go to the what am I trying to say? I can go shopping and wear anything that I want, right?
Yeah.
Where previously, when I was younger, like that was a really big struggle. So it felt
Yeah.
good. I think that kind of like gave me some control,
Yeah.
but I had just taken it a little too far. Again, not really because I was meaning to. It's just like that
Hmm.
was the product of what happened based on what I was following.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
took a while to like get out of that mindset,
Hmm.
but I finally did it. And now here I am.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah.
So, so that I think I relate to that story a lot, with a lot of the same things that, you really went through. I feel the same way as you don't get into some of these, disordered eating type of mindsets and habits. It's just kind of what you learn. And I love that quote, you pretty much don't know you're wrong until you find out that you're wrong. You just keep
Mhm,
doing it and you
mhm.
think that it's right. And I 100% agree with that. Because I, did a lot of the same things that you did. You just kind of get this information and then you're like, oh wait, what I was doing for the last 6 years, maybe it wasn't the best, it wasn't wrong, but it definitely wasn't right either.
Yes, yes. Yeah, like, it had some merit to it.
Yeah,
Like,
it
"Oh,
worked
eat
to a
healthy,
sense.
prioritize protein, lift weights, move your body."
Yeah.
Just it was a little too restrictive,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So what would you tell someone, like you've gone through this, large long fitness journey so far, like what would you maybe tell like your like 15, 20-year-old self, like starting your fitness journey, like what would you tell them? Like what was something you wish you learned at the beginning
Mhm.
that would definitely like have helped you along with maybe a little bit faster or, you know.
God, that's a great question. I would say just don't be so extreme about it. It doesn't have to take over your life, which it definitely did for me. Like you can find that balance where you don't have to work out every day. You don't have
Yeah.
to give up the foods that you love. There can be this like good balance of what you enjoy while also, doing the things that are going to help you progress. But you don't have to be so laser focused on it that you lose sight of everything else that really
Yeah.
matters. So like my
Yeah.
health, my friendships, my like my schoolwork, even like
Yeah.
in college, I would be up late at night reading, fitness magazines or fitness blogs and just like all consumed by that and
Yeah.
putting off what I really should be doing or even like not going out with my friends. Like, oh, you're going to
Yeah.
go to the bars. Well, I'm going to sit here and read Figure Athlete,
Yeah.
and see how I can get even leaner. That
Yeah.
was just ridiculous. Yeah.
No,
So
I
it doesn't have to be that hard, I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah, no, I agree. That I think just our minds go to these extremes automatically. Like I think we think, like especially if you maybe it is a lack of knowledge or a lack of know-how, but we think automatically that it's really hard. Like we got to do like 6 hours of cardios a week, 6 hour lifting. Cut out everything that we're eating in our diet. I think that's where most people go to right away, and I think that stops a lot of people
Mhm.
from starting because they think of the extreme and not, probably 10 steps away from anywhere they need to be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, start small, just start small. One thing, change one thing at a time. And I think for me, I tried to change everything. Like I went hard in the paint,
Yeah.
from the get-go, which it worked. And I
Yeah.
think that not everybody has the ability to do that
Yeah.
and, and keep it up. Like, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm this magical unicorn and I'm so wonderful and I'm just like, very disciplined. Like, yes, I am very disciplined.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it is so easy for me to do the things that I need to do with my fitness. And I think that it does come from a place of fear, perhaps, because
Hmm.
I know how unhappy I was all of those years ago when I was overweight. And like I said, I would go looking for clothes and nothing to fit. And I was just so self conscious. Like it took up so much mental energy that I never
Yeah.
want to go back to that place.
Yeah.
But there are other things in my life where I'm not as disciplined, where I have
Hmm.
those limiting beliefs, or I really have to, talk myself into doing something, like with my business, right? Like
Yeah.
I wish that things with my business came as easily as they do with my fitness.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people listening, if they are struggling to like do the thing, just know you're human and um yeah, it doesn't always come that easily for people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So start small, do
Yeah.
the thing, prove to yourself that you can do it, and that then add on something else.
Yeah. I love that idea of like being successful in one area of your life and then trying to translate that into another.
Hmm.
And I think that's maybe where, some people can succeed and fail is that they were so successful in one area and they went about it this way, but maybe that doesn't translate exactly into, health, fitness, relationships. How you practice your business might not be the same exact way as how you practice your fitness or your family.
Hmm.
And sometimes it doesn't translate, evenly, and you got to figure out what works for you
Hmm.
in that
Absolutely.
area.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, I think that limiting beliefs are really one of the things that hold people back on
Yeah.
really with any journey that they have.
Hmm.
So, like I was saying with my business, I have some limiting beliefs around that maybe I don't have around
Yeah.
my fitness journey.
Yeah.
But what I ask myself is, okay, I have evidence that I am a disciplined person, that I do have confidence, that I can do
Yeah.
hard things. So
Mhm.
how can I cultivate those beliefs, those behaviors, and apply them to this other thing that I want to do?
Yeah. Exactly. So what would you so kind of going off that topic, how would you what advice would you give someone like that maybe is successful in one area of their life? Like they have a great family life, they have a great, business or job, but their health, their fitness is just terrible. They've tried, tons of different ways to go about it, but maybe haven't quite figured out how to translate that other success into success with their health, their fitness, their nutrition.
Mm-hmm. So, I always tell someone like you have to rewrite your story, and this
Hmm.
is why I'm such a huge proponent, excuse me, of journaling
Yeah.
as a way to start overcoming those limiting beliefs, because everything is just like up in your head, swirling
Oh
around.
yeah.
Everything else that you have to do, and when it's up there, you don't really have the clarity and or perspective to ask yourself like what is true and what is not. So writing it all out, write down all of the reasons why you feel it is not possible for you to succeed. And
Hmm.
then like you get all that out, you can see it clearly for what it is, right? And then you choose a new belief or an opposite one. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I can never stick to a diet for longer than 2 weeks. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, is that really true? Well, maybe it is, but why do you think that is the case? And maybe it's
Yeah.
because I've done nothing but try to do crash diets.
Yeah.
So those are unsustainable. I feel deprived. yeah, no wonder why I can't stick to it because
Yeah.
no one can stick to it. It's
Yeah.
not me, it's the diet, you
Hmm.
know? So getting it out, seeing it clearly for what it is, and then choosing a new belief that feels more powerful.
Yeah. I love that. I think writing down like your thoughts and just getting it out of your head is quite a lot more powerful than I think people think, because it's just running around in our heads and you keep thinking about it, keep thinking about it. I remember the other day, I didn't think I had my planner on me when I was doing work. So I kept all day, all these thoughts in my head. And I was like, of things I had to remember to do. And all day I just felt like I could never remember like, not what I was so distracted because I couldn't just write down what I needed to do later on. I don't even think it was something I needed to do that day. I needed to do it the next day. So just writing down those thoughts and those, it just gets them out of your head. And then you
Mhm.
don't have to remember. Then you can focus in on what's really important. And I
Exactly.
love and I love that, the like looking at that belief and like actually looking and breaking it down and actually looking at it and like, why is it that you think that? And looking at it, because I think a lot of people do think it's their fault.
Mhm.
That there's tons of people out there that have success in their fitness and their new health and nutrition. So it must be my fault, not whatever I'm trying to do's fault.
Right. And then, it also can go back to beliefs that were put upon you from somebody else. So
Yeah.
maybe it was your mom. Like I gave the example of, my mom saying, "Oh, you need to do the cab or soup diet," and
Yeah.
seeing her
Yeah.
not succeed with it.
Yeah.
So well, if she can't succeed with it, then there's no way that I'll be able to succeed with it too. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, your environment plays such a huge role in your beliefs, but also in your behavior. Like we are
Yeah.
the 5 people, or we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And it really
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. If you're looking to change something in your life, you want to be around the people that maybe have succeeded in that one area, or on the same type of journey that you are, because who's going to relate more to it than, someone who's already gone through it or is going through it currently. Like
Mhm.
you step up. That's how you move up. You don't That's why they always suggest, don't be the smartest one in the room, don't be the richest one in the room. If you want to move up, or if you want to, do that, get smarter, be wealthier, be, more in shape, maybe you should be around people that are maybe a slightly above you or slightly further along in that journey, because they have maybe not the secrets, but they've gotten there. They'll know the pitfalls that they've already fallen through and can help
Exactly.
you navigate those.
And I call it borrowed belief.
Yeah.
So, or I look at these people and I call them an expander. So they
Yeah.
show me, really, they show your brain, because your brain's the one that's in charge of all this stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
running the show.
Yeah.
It shows your brain what is possible.
Yeah.
So if that person can do it, then it's possible for me too. So it
Yeah.
has to be someone where it feels somewhat believable.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to look to Serena Williams as an expander for me as to what
Yeah.
is possible. Because, like, well, we're not really comparing apples to apples there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I'll go back to the business coaching example.
Yeah.
My first mentor was this woman, Jill Coleman,
Yeah.
and I still follow her work to this day. She's still a mentor of mine, and she really is an inspiration and someone who I borrow belief from, because
Yeah.
she started just where I did,
Yeah.
where, disordered eating and doing the whole, like what I call the fitness hustle. So
Yeah.
training people in person, 60 hours a week, just
Mhm.
miserable. And
Yeah.
then she basically said, like, I'm tired of this. I need to find a different way. And now she's a multi six-figure business owner, like
Yeah.
online, right?
Yeah.
With a certification called Moderation 365, which helped, is what she used to overcome her kind of food obsession, so to speak. So I
Yeah.
can look at her and be like, well, if Jill did it and we started from the same place, then
Yeah.
why can't I?
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a great kind of like asterisk there. Like you shouldn't obviously reach for the person, like I shouldn't be looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger as, as you say, your expander, because I'm not anywhere near that level of where I'm at. I should get somewhere a little bit closer to, slightly above, not 5, 10 levels above me, because that
Yeah.
might seem a lot more impossible to to reach. And when we think we can't reach that height, then that's when it becomes like, oh, why even bother? Why
Mhm.
try if I am never going to get there? I'm never going to get to that person's, level.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why starting small is gonna be really helpful
Mhm.
because like using the Arnold Schwarzenegger example,
Yeah.
you could go back into a fitness magazine where he shared his workout for the day
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no way that I could do that. You go in and try to do it and you fail and you're so sore for 2 weeks. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
never going back to the gym again. Right. So it's like, yeah, start small, but okay, he's going to be my inspiration because I want to build muscle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with 3 days of lifting, and then build upon it from there. And it's like,
Yeah.
see that win and like really grab onto that win where it's showing me, okay, like you are doing the thing.
Yeah.
And now when that feels good and that is believable, then you can add on like the next layer. Now you can increase the
Yeah.
intensity a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Those small steps are so important, and I think a lot of us underestimate the power of those small actions. Where if we just change, those 1 to 2 to 3 things, that is going to help us bring up so much further than we think it will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's where I personally like to start, and with like a lot of my clients and a lot of people, I'm like, yeah, just start with something small, something so simple that you don't have to start with working out even 3 to 4 times per week. You can just go for walks. You can just simply add more veggies or to your diet, drink more water, get more sleep. Just those small things are going to help you improve so much more than if you because you're not doing them now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then once you start doing them, like,
Yeah.
oh, look at me doing them. Now I have the confidence to keep going, to do something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So very
exactly.
powerful.
It helps you build that momentum to go
Mhm.
forward and take that next step each and every time, which I think is, another reason why, taking too much on at one time is maybe not the best idea for a lot of people because like you just said, like the example you used where, oh, I can't diet for more than 2 weeks. Well, it's because the diet you took is too extreme and you weren't ready for that level yet. And you didn't give yourself enough time to even build momentum to go to, 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks because you tried to, run up a wall when, instead of climbing a mountain or climbing a hill, you decided to run. You tried to jump the hole to the top, which you
Yeah.
know not everyone
Yeah.
can do. It can work for some people. It can definitely work, but for 90% of us, that's not how we're gonna succeed long term.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah. So, um, so it is kind of like by the time this podcast comes out, we're going to be in February. We're almost in February. Um, a lot of people, always had their fitness goals in, 2021. I know a lot of us, you know, like we've been talking about, maybe took on maybe a little bit more than we can chew. You
Yes.
know, I know I've been there before. I bet you have too, setting goals that maybe are a little too high for your level right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe what are some maybe have you seen, with your clients or, with people in general, like what are maybe some like underutilized ways or methods for people to, start seeing results in their health and fitness that maybe people aren't like necessarily thinking about right away that like might not come to the top of their head.
Mm. Well, I did post on this yesterday, and I've shared this one many times because people just need to see it over and over again until it
Oh
like
yeah.
really sinks. And it's, perfect timing that you asked this question because yes, we are still in January where people
Mhm.
are doing the New Year's resolutions and they're
Yeah.
going balls to the wall on their
Yeah.
nutrition, their detoxes, like
Yeah.
tons of exercise, usually cardio.
Mhm.
So the post I put up yesterday was non-exercise ways to burn calories.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because
Oh yeah.
everyone wants to believe that it's the exercise that is going to move them forward. I even had a client, she's only been with me for a month and
Hmm.
she's very lean. She doesn't have a lot of body fat to lose.
Hmm.
And she's fairly consistent with the nutrition,
Yeah.
but oh, I'll be good for 5 days and then I'll kind of go off the rails on over the weekend. Oh, maybe some like bites, looks, and tastes are sneaking in. Oh, why am I not making progress? It's like, well, first of all, your nutrition isn't where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, not being consistent enough. But she asked me yesterday, is it okay if I add 3 days a week of HIIT to my routine? And I said, no, it's not okay. And I said, and that's kind of where I had to ask her, like, why do you feel you need to do that? And that
Yeah.
goes back to the belief system, right? Like
Yeah.
all people saying, oh, I believe that I need to do it because everyone else is doing it. That's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. So I should do that too. When really you just need to move more in your everyday life. So
Yeah.
cardio is so overrated. It doesn't burn that many calories.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, this is anecdotal. There's no scientific literature, but I've heard it from enough people and I've experienced it myself
Yeah.
that a lot of times, like all that cardio will make you hungrier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So now the thing that you really need to do to drive your fat loss or to make progress is to be consistent with your nutrition. But now you're so hungry because you're doing all this cardio, which really isn't burning that many calories. And now you're just eating back what you
Yeah.
burn, perhaps more.
Yeah.
So, and then, there are other issues too. So you adapt to it quickly. So now what may have taken you 30 minutes to burn 300 calories is going to take you 45 minutes and then 60
Yeah.
minutes. It's just this like, it never ends.
Yep.
So my advice is just to tell people be more active in your daily life. Like if you have a desk job, set a reminder and get up every hour and walk around the
Hmm.
house for a few minutes, take the stairs, park farther away, go for a walk every day. That non-exercise activity is so beneficial and so underrated. And it's not sexy,
Yeah.
not the cleanse, it's not the
Yeah.
like insanity workouts,
Yep.
but it works.
No, I 100% agree. I love non-exercise, like physical activity. I think it is like one of the highly underrated things. I actually wrote my whole master's thesis on
Oh,
non-exercise physical activity. Did
really?
a whole and did a whole research thing based off of it. I think it's super interesting topic, and I absolutely love it. And even anecdotally, I 100% agree because I just got my job. I am a lot more on my feet again, and I've seen so much more progress, because I am now walking, 10 to 13,000 steps on some days,
Yep.
compared to, in quarantine where I was still going for long walks, but, maybe still had longer periods of sitting. I do think that is like a very underutilized way. And especially like it is as simple as just, parking further away. They
Hmm.
can just add those extra, 50 to 100 steps to your day that'll just help add up over time and just help you just like move more.
Well, it's so interesting you say this. And now I want to get on my stories after the podcast is done and talk about it, like as a
Yeah.
follow to the post that I did yesterday, because
Yeah.
you and I were talking about, the start of my fitness journey and how in college, like I lost a
Yeah.
lot of weight.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to talk about oh, I gained the freshman 15. Well,
Mhm.
I lost the freshman 15. And I
Yeah.
think because I was so consistent with my nutrition and
Yeah.
like yes, I would drink, on occasion, but I think that my calories throughout the day were so low that the drinking just kind of didn't really
Yeah.
put a
Really.
dent in it.
Yeah.
Um, but I went from, yes, working out when I was in high school, but I didn't know anything about going for walks. Like
Yeah.
going for a walk would have been like, are you kidding me? That's so lazy. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, get on the step for 45 minutes. But
Yeah.
then I probably won't be active. I'm gonna be sitting in class the rest of the day. And then I'm gonna
Yep.
come home and I'm gonna sit on my butt, doing homework. So I
Yep.
would really like to know what my step count would have been like in
Yeah.
high school compared to when I went to college and I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
I had a bike, but I didn't ride it. And I walked everywhere.
Yeah.
You, you go to class and it's like, oh, the dorm's here. Class is 20 minutes away,
Yep.
you know? And then while still like strength training, doing some cardio, all of that. But I really think that's what made me lose weight.
Yeah. No, I I do want that too. I know in college I did have a, like a Fitbit for a little while. And so I some days I would walk just so much, almost I would get almost 10,000 steps just walking at class. I went to school in Philadelphia, so I was in a city. I had a car, but there was no driving to class. That would have been a nightmare, um, in a city. So yeah, step count is huge, and it's like pretty much like if anybody like asks me like, oh, what can I do? And they're not doing anything for fitness, I'm like, go for a walk. Like just
Mhm.
go for add even just 10 minutes of walking every day. You're gonna, start to get stronger and start to feel better, and then move on from there.
Mhm.
Because then like again, that builds that momentum, and it's so simple. It's so simple people think it's stupid.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, 10 minutes of walking, that's not gonna help me. But it's like, yes, it will. And it will build that momentum. So then, okay, I went for a walk today. Now I think I'm gonna, have a salad for lunch, or I'm gonna, instead of, ordering out for the next, 3 days for dinner, I'm gonna, try to make something for dinner.
Mhm.
Um, Something like that. And then it helps build that momentum. Or, okay, maybe now I'm gonna go to the gym, take that group fitness class, or, whatever it may be. That's gonna lead to that next thing.
Yep. Well, it's so funny now. Like this conversation is triggering all these old memories. So in the beginning of the conversation, I was telling you how I used to read T Nation. I would read
Yeah.
T Nation every single morning. Like I would get
Yeah.
up, look forward to what the new article was going to be. And I remember coming across this one, and it's something called, and it's all about like clickbait, right? The
Yeah,
title,
always.
title gets you. And it's something like 1,000 workouts to Rift City or something like that, or maybe it was 100 workouts to Rift City. I
Yeah.
can't remember. I was like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
And I read the article, and I'm going to have to go and pull it up and read it over again. And like the article basically said, go for a walk every morning, like a fasted walk. I don't
Yeah.
think necessarily like the fasting that made the difference, but
Yeah.
it was go for a 60-minute walk every morning, and like you will get lean.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. And I was already pretty lean at that point, and I was training people in the gym. So
Yeah.
I think I had a client at 4:45 in the morning. So I would get done with her, and then I would go for this 45 or 60-minute walk while
Yeah.
I waited for my 7 o'clock client to come.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, but like the weight melted off.
Yeah. No, I remember I had a coach, and that was his suggestion, was just like go for walks. And I'm like, I'm a big runner. I've been running since, like for sport since I was like 12. So like I've always ran. And I was like, walking is so lame. But
Right?
I was like, I do want to get leaner. Okay. Like you're jacked and lean. Like you obviously know something I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it did work. Like I was like, man, it actually does. And I do feel better because my lifts were so heavy at that point that, for a lot of people, like if your lifting, is so heavy, you can't add running on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
it's gonna just take too much out of you. And so like walking is definitely a great form of, cardio that people don't consider. It might be lower intensity, but that doesn't mean it's not cardio. It doesn't mean your body's not working still.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So it is the most underrated but most effective exercise. I put that in quotes. That there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think exercise is more of a, like there's like the definition of it, like the science definition of it, and then like the real one. I'm like, if you're purposefully doing something for a goal, like that's exercise, even if your heart rate doesn't respond as well. As long as there's a purpose behind it. If
Yeah.
your purpose is to get those steps and to feel better, there you go. There's your purpose, you
Yeah.
know, to
For
get
sure.
that change. Um, because I remember I had a professor who was like yelled at me, or not yelled at me. She challenged me. She was like, "So what you're saying is," I gave a definition to exercise. She was like, "So what you're saying is what I do for exercise doesn't count as exercise?"
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, like no, I did. I think she was wrong, but I did not say that. I was like, you're doing it for a purpose. That's the idea, behind it. But what we're doing doesn't count. Yours
Yeah.
does not count because it's intensity wise and heart
Yeah.
related.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I think, for layman's purposes, anything can be considered exercise, even something more simple like a yoga, or even just like um, stretching, if there's a purpose behind it, in my world, it's exercise.
Yeah, sure. And I think that if we were to discount that and tell someone who
Yeah.
is really overweight, who has never exercised before and is scared about it. Oh
Yeah.
no, your 5 minute walk or your stretching isn't exercise, and they're going to feel defeated and
Yeah.
not want to start at all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they just show up to a gym and weights or get on the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can distinctly remember a client who I was and maybe trained them like 2 or 3 times per week. And I was like, oh, let's try to get another day in here. Because my goal was always to, get them to train on their own because I didn't want them as a client all the time. I wanted them to, be self-sufficient because I knew there would be
Right.
a point where they would leave me. And I just remember I'm like, she was just like, no, or I can't remember if it's a girl or a boy, but they were like, no, like I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel, here in the gym. I just don't feel comfortable without you working with me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, just start simply. Like if you feel comfortable doing the cardio, walk on the treadmill and then do one machine. I was like, one machine counts. Just do one machine. You don't even have to do 3 sets of 10. You can do one set as long as you just get in there and just try it. I don't care what machine you do. You could do the bicep curl machine. I don't care. You could do that. You could do the stupid ab machine that I don't like. But if it's gonna get you to do it, that's all I care about at that point. And then we can build from there. But you got to start somewhere with you know that fear and, kind of conquering it and, building that momentum.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, the momentum. Everyone wants to rely on the motivation. It's like, no, it's the momentum that's going to keep you coming back.
Yeah, yeah, and motivation and willpower. I think that's kind of where like in February, March, it starts to die off because the motivation's dwindled. They've cut their calories way too low, or they've exercised way too much, so their energy levels are starting to dwindle, and they're like, "Man, I really don't want to do this anymore." And it's like, well, just because your willpower ran out, you deprived yourself. You didn't build that momentum yet to
Exactly.
continue, and that's why the other people will succeed and why you need to maybe change it up to then find that success.
Yeah. I know shiny object syndrome goes away.
Yeah,
So everything seems really exciting in the beginning, like, oh, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to get these great results because you're seeing the promises that are
yeah,
given to you. And that's usually smoke and mirrors. Let's just be
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Right. So when you get into it, and like you said, you realize, oh my gosh, this is a grind and I'm tired, I'm deprived, I'm hungry, I'm miserable, I'm irritable. Like
yeah,
what did I sign up for? And you
yeah,
burn out and you think it's you, it's really not you. And the other thing, like I love talking about willpower because everyone likes to say, I have no willpower, I have no self-control. And it's like, no, that's not true.
yeah,
Again, belief, it's a limiting belief that you have.
yeah,
Really, like a lack of willpower or self-control is just a stress response from your body, that you are putting
yeah,
your body under too much stress and you are not regenerating yourself in a
hmm,
way to recharge that willpower battery or build that willpower muscle.
yeah,
So a crash diet, too much exercise, coupled with all of the stress that you already have going on in
yeah,
your life with your family, your work, whatever the case may be, that is just going to deplete the willpower. And then you get to the end of the day or the end of the week and you haven't done anything to recharge. And now
hmm,
you are headfirst in a pizza or whatever it is,
yeah,
and then saying to yourself, why can't I stick to anything? It's like, because you
yeah,
just about it the wrong way. Again, it's not you, it's what you were told to believe.
yeah,
And that's I put up this quote a couple of times about the mindset of wanting to make a change as quickly as possible. So it was like your sense of urgency to
hmm,
lose weight is the very mindset that is keeping you from losing and regaining the same weight over and over again, because you
yeah,
will do whatever it takes. And those methods, those quick fix methods that promise immediate results or results in 30 days aren't sustainable. And I think that they're also built to not work so that people keep
yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah. They don't want you to succeed, because then how are you going to buy their next, product or
Exactly.
sign up for their next challenge or whatnot? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I 100% agree. Like you got to set yourself up for success because there are those other stresses in your life and you're going to dwindle. Like that willpower is going to dwindle. There are always going to be days where at 5 o'clock at night, like you're not going to want to, make that salad when you have the option of pizza or, a hamburger and fries. Like
Mhm.
there's always going to be days like that. So you got to figure out and set yourself up for that success. That's why, like, for me, like nutrition wise, like thinking about like, okay, like what foods in my house can I not keep in my house or should limit in my house because if they're there, I will go for them like instantly, like without thought. Like chips, like I'm terrible with chips. Like we'll me and my wife will eat a bag of chips. We'll get it at the grocery store and we'll get it. It'll be gone in 3 days.
Mhm.
But I'm like, okay, well, we have one bag for the next week. If it's gone in 3 days, guess what? We ain't eating chips for the next 4 days. That's just like what it comes down to. And it's like, I that's how I built up my willpower. It's like, okay, like you have to realize like if you eat it all, you're not getting any more. So either you space it out and you enjoy it or, you binge it and then you feel terrible because you never feel good after a binge.
Not. No, no one does,
Yeah.
physically or mentally.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it is building up that willpower and, finding it, you know, setting yourself up for success, with your environment and with your, nutrition plan overall.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. And then I think too, exposing yourself to those things that, like for you, the chips. Chips are
Yeah.
kryptonite of mine too. And here
Yeah.
we are using this language. I'm all about language, and what you say
Yeah.
out loud is going to become your reality. So,
Yeah.
oh, chips are my kryptonite. Well, yeah, then they're going to continue to be,
Oh
if that's
yeah.
what you believe
Exactly.
and say. Um, but so a lot of people will try to, and again, I believe environment is very helpful or powerful. So if you need to not buy the chips, then that probably is the right thing to do. And I will
Yeah.
be honest, I don't really buy chips. So I was at
Yeah.
Trader Joe's before this and I saw my very favorite thing, plantain chips that they now have drizzled with chocolate. And
Oh.
oh my gosh, like talk about the definition of hyperpalatable foods,
Yeah.
two of my favorite foods in one. And I was like, no, not going to buy those. But now I've developed enough self trust
Yeah.
with myself around food that I could buy them and
Yeah.
have a couple and like the bag would not be gone.
Yeah.
But I think that you need that exposure therapy
Yeah.
to develop that self trust
Yeah.
so that, in a period of lower willpower,
Hmm.
you don't end up eating the whole bag.
Yeah. I agree. I love that word self trust. Having I think we think about trust as like I trust you, you trust me, but also trusting yourself to, make that right decision and
Mhm.
own that decision at the end of the day. Because I agree, I think a lot of people don't trust themselves around certain foods or even certain environments. A restaurant, a bar, a family, a holiday party. And I think that adds to that stress of that the diet doesn't work, that the workout program doesn't work because then you take out all the other stuff that you don't trust yourself at.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So, yeah, and that's why these deprivation type diets don't work, is because it's telling people, it's that whole thing. Oh, if I tell you not to think of a pink elephant, what are you going to
Yeah.
do? You're going to think of the pink elephant. Same thing.
Hmm.
If I tell you all those foods are off limits, you're just going to want them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like to, go with the mindset of, like focus on adding. What can you add? What is going to replace that food? So, okay, we'll continue with the example of chips. Like, okay, I don't want to eat too many chips, but I don't want to just keep thinking about not having chips because then when I go to the grocery store and pass them 17 times, um, I'm gonna just I'm gonna grab it anyway because I'm just thinking about it constantly. Like, okay, what can I replace with that? Can I maybe have, some fruit with that or a smoothie or, replace it with any other type of food or maybe focus in on drinking more water or something like that and adding that in. So then it's not my goal to not eat chips. My goal is to drink more water or have an extra serving of fruit every day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. And I say that just when it comes to like fat loss in general, not even what can you add to your life or what can you add to your diet in
Yeah.
terms of fruit, vegetables, water. I mean, protein, that's all great, but like
Yeah.
even to your life. Because I think
Yeah.
that a lot of time people they gravitate to food because that's the only
Yeah.
thing they know that makes them feel better, that comforts them. But add more joy to your life, add more
Mm,
connection. So like get a hobby, call a friend, like do things that are going to fill yourself up in a way that food really cannot, or that food only can
yeah.
temporarily. And when you're focusing more on that, it's kind of like food becomes an afterthought.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that is a great way. I think adding that like kind of like mental health, that like mental, physical life aspect to it and replacing that, with nutrition, that could definitely be a very powerful tool.
Mhm.
Um, because I think we do get so easily distracted nowadays that with everything that we have like at our fingertips and at our touch that we forget to connect or find that joy or happiness, or we think we're happy, but are we really happy? Are we just faking it, or are we Instagram happy? Just telling everybody we're happy, but really we actually hate everything. We hate
Exactly.
every aspect of our life.
It's so true. And when you're not fulfilled in your life, then most people are going to turn to food because
Yeah.
it's a very easy, comforting thing that, doesn't really, well, I say it doesn't do you wrong, but it
Yeah.
will eventually,
Yeah.
but in the moment,
Mhm.
we're like, oh, the food is always going to be here.
Yeah, and it's available to us at all. No one's gonna judge you for eating because you have to eat every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, if no one's gonna judge you if you, went to McDonald's, to grab food, because most people are gonna be like, "Oh, that guy needs to eat dinner." But really, though, it's like his 10th meal of the day, and he's, eating that or whatever it may be. So it's like it's so easy for us to, gravitate towards that food. And for a lot of us, food is, a comforting thing, and it's taught to us. We have to eat every day. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's brought around family, or it might be your one way of connecting with everyone. So it's like it's a sensitive aspect
Yeah,
of a lot of people's, belief in themselves.
absolutely. That's very true. Yeah. I know when you do something three, four, five, 6 times a day,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be hard to kind of change those thought patterns and those habits for sure, when
Yeah.
you're exposed to it.
Yeah, exactly. And what it might have been taught to you from birth, like it might have, you might have to undo 20, 30, 40 years, depending on when you start, of habits and beliefs that you that you think is, the truth, because it's all you've been taught.
Right. Yes. Yes. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's those belief systems that oftentimes are imprinted upon us from somebody else that
Yeah.
aren't really ours. But
Yeah.
you are the adult now, so you get to choose a new
Which
belief that better serves you.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people, especially like, as they grow, they think about, okay, like that's like how my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother all did this, and this is how they did everything. And it's like they think that like, oh, I'm changing everything, and it's like kind of like spitting on their family, especially around where I'm from. A lot of people, old Italian ways, Greek
Oh
ways, that's just like how my family is. And it's like, you can change those things and adapt them. Like you said, you're an adult now. You can change them to fit, what is the truth now,
yeah.
like what
You
knowledge has always been increasing and will continue to increase, until the day you die, and even past when you die, people will learn more and more, and what you did, you know could be completely wrong. What we're doing right now could be completely wrong, and there might be a better way to do things. So we got to change those beliefs and really kind of look at them and be like, okay, like what's good for me now, and what kind of also like goes with how I believe and what I value.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so such good stuff.
Yeah, agreed, agreed, Marcy. So where can everyone find you? Where's the best place for any one of the listeners wanted to check out where Marcy's at?
Yeah, I hang out mostly on Instagram, so Marci Nevin is my handle. That's where all my content is for right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do have a podcast, but it's on a little bit of a hiatus. But if you want to go listen, it's called Decades of Strength. It's on
Yeah.
iTunes. So there are lots of good episodes from the past year that you can listen to.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes as a link to everybody. So they can, go ahead, follow Marci. She does have some great content out there. I know I do love, seeing it out there. Um, awesome. So it was great speaking with you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and hope you have a great birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
remembering. Kind of you. All
yeah,
right.
and hope to speak to you soon. Hope you have a
Absolutely.
great day.
Thanks again. You too. Bye.
Bye.